Hi, and welcome to the third installment of the Romance Reader vlog. If you've been here before, thanks for coming back. If not and you enjoy what you see here today, you can go and look at the backlog of videos. There are only two because this is the third installment. They should be on the on my YouTube channel where you found this. Or you can also view them on my blog, theromancereader.wordpress.com. And I believe it'll also be up on the Facebook page, which I recently started. It is facebook.com/theromancereader. That you'll be able to access all the other blog posts from the last few weeks. I haven't uploaded them all yet. And you'll also see all the vlogs that have been uploaded as well. So I hope you guys have been having a better time finding books to read than I have lately. It seems that I've been getting the stinkers. I don't know if I'm just picking the wrong books or if maybe I'm subconsciously deciding halfway through that I don't like it. I just don't understand what's going on lately. The last two books I tried to read just really didn't work for me. The first one, well, actually the last three if you think about it. The first one was Savor the Moment by Nora Roberts, and the one after that was Happy Ever After, also by Nora Roberts. The last two books in the Bride series, which came out I think 3 or 4 years ago now. And then after that was the First Love Cookie Club by Lori Wilde, and I didn't get very far into that one at all before realizing that it wasn't what I was hoping it to be. The only book that I've actually really been enjoying lately is it's Memories Before and After the Sound of Music by Agatha von Trapp, who is the oldest daughter of Georg von Trapp and his first wife, Agatha Whitehead von Trapp. It's a really interesting book, especially for anyone who has been a fan of the movie as much as I have. It shows you a lot of things that the movie doesn't talk about, especially about the marriage between the captain and his first wife, which is barely even, I mean, the only thing you know about is that he's crushed when she dies and that he's got these 7 kids to raise by himself. Anyway, so about the romance novels I've been reading, Savor the Moment was probably the biggest letdown for me because I loved that book the first time I read it, and this time it really didn't work. My main problem with it was that I really didn't think that the problems faced by the hero and heroine were successfully wrapped up by the end of the book. The two main characters are Delaney Dell Brown and Laurel McBain. They've known each other since they were children because Laurel is one of Dell's sister's best friends, and they've been best friends forever, literally. Despite the fact that Laurel grew up with significantly less money than Dell and Parker. There's mention of the fact that her father screwed up with his taxes and all their money was taken away. So maybe they had some and then lost it. I'm not quite sure on that, but I guess she was kind of a snob. She felt like because she didn't come from money, she shouldn't be with Dell. She believed that the fact that Dell came from money made him a better person than her. Made it seem as if that he was slumming with her, and if he had heard her talk that way, he would have been extremely insulted because that's not what he was doing. He really did love her. The one thing I really did get out of that book was Dell would have done anything for Laurel. Anything. And I think that's why the ending bothered me so much. This book has been out for about 4 years now, so if you haven't read it, you may just want to skip ahead a little bit because I'll definitely be spoiling it. But I do feel safe in talking about it because, like I said, it has been out for about 4 years. Towards the end of the book, Laurel and Dell get into this huge argument because he wanted to reimburse her from the money she spent on food for their friends at a party that they were having at his vacation house. He just felt it was the right thing to do, and she felt as if he was trying to buy her trying to use his money to make her happy. And she didn't like that. And I do understand that. I understand how that could be a problem. But if she had just sat down and said, listen, Dell, I know you want to do this. I know you think it's the right thing to do, but I have issues with it. He totally would have understood. And she couldn't explain it to him because she knew it didn't make sense. She could not explain to him why she felt the way that she did because she knew she'd sound stupid. And eventually it blew up and he stormed off and she was like, oh, I guess this is it. We're done. The next morning he wakes her up and he's got his mother's engagement ring and he's like, yeah, marry me. I love you. But it felt like a manipulation. And I feel that if this was a real couple, that 5, 6, 7 years down the line, he's going to be sitting there wondering, well, did she manipulate me into marrying her? Is that what this is? Was that all that was? Was it Laurel wanted to marry me and she used those issues that knew would get to me to get me to marry her? And I honestly don't believe that's what she was doing. I think that she couldn't get through thinking that he didn't love her because he had not said the words yet. And that was my main issue there. I did have some issues with Happy Ever After. Basically, my problem with that book was that Parker went from denying having any feelings whatsoever for Mal to realizing that she's in love with him. I'm reading on my Kindle, so it went from maybe like 50% to 60% in that span of time, and I was like, no, I can't do this. I can't. I want to see them fall in love. I don't want her to go, oh, yeah, so the kisses, it's not just, okay. It made me feel like she was an idiot. Like, how did you not see yourself? It didn't make sense, and I just couldn't get through it, so I stopped reading. That's when I started reading the First Love Cookie Club. And boy, was that a mistake. There were a lot of really good reviews online for this book. Apparently, I missed the bad ones somehow, because I found them after I stopped reading. The First Love Cookie Club takes, it's about a girl who, when she was 15 years old, had fallen, well, she didn't really fall, she just, she believed in what was called Kismet cookies. She and her grandma would make them every Christmas Eve from the time she was about 7 or 8, and if you put these cookies under your pillow, it's supposed to make you dream about your one true love. And from the first time she did this, she dreamt about the boy who lived next door to her grandmother, who was 5 years older than her. When she was 15, she found out he was getting married, and she was like, but the cookies told me that you're my one true love. How are you marrying this other bitch? No, you can't marry her. And she runs down to the church, and as the minister, I'm imagining minister, because I have a feeling they're Protestant, not Catholic. The minister gets to the point, of the ceremony where he asks for people to object, and she's running down the aisle in these crazy reindeer antler head thing because it's Christmas, and this guy's getting married on Christmas. She goes, you can't marry her. You can't marry her. You're my true love. The cookies told me you're my true love. You can't marry her. You can't. And she comes out looking like a stupid little brat. Like, okay, a bunch of cookies told you you're going to marry him. So what? It could have been a nightmare. Depending on hasn't she ever seen White Christmas? I mean, come on now. There's the whole scene where Bing Crosby's character is like, yeah, you eat this, you're going to dream of brunette. Eat that, you're going to dream of a blonde. And then if you eat liverwurst, you can dream of liverwurst. Well, maybe she was thinking about this guy before she went to bed, which is still a little weird for an 8-year-old, but still, it's a possibility. So the book picks up 9 years after the wedding. So she's now 24, and the hero is now 29. She, at 24, has accidentally become a best-selling children's book author. She wrote one book when she was in college, and it got picked up. That does not happen. That does not happen. People strive for years. It's very, very rare for that type of thing to happen. I mean, it happened for J.K. Rowling. Okay. Very few people have that happen. Um, she's this successful author, and little kids all over the world love her. She gets a letter from a little girl in Twilight, Texas, which is her kind of hometown. She spent her summers and Christmas holiday there because she was in boarding school while her parents were being successful, obnoxious surgeons. So she was living with her grandmother during times when she wasn't at school. Um, what she doesn't realize is that, of course, the man that she believed was her true love is the little girl's father, and he is now divorced because his wife was a stone cold bitch who left when the little girl got sick. The little girl was really sick. She's dying. She wants to meet her favorite author before she dies. So she decides she's going to go back to Texas, and she's going to do all these Christmassy things in the town because apparently that's part of the deal. She has to go and be on the Christmas float with Father Christmas. I really want to know where Lori Wilde is from because no one here calls Santa Claus Father Christmas. That is something you call Santa in England. Maybe this woman's English. I don't know. But she is doing all these crazy Christmas things. There's some Dickens parade thing, Charles Dickens, where the mayor dresses up as Charles Dickens. Why? It doesn't make sense. You're not in fucking England. You're in Texas. Act like it. And she's trying to avoid this guy because she knows he still lives in the town. Because apparently no one ever leaves this town, and she's the only one who ever did. But of course, like I said, he's there, and he's instantly attracted to her. He thinks she's gorgeous and playing coy, I guess, but she's really supposedly shy. She doesn't want to do this. She just wraps her pseudonym around her like a coat of armor. I'm Sadie Cool. I'm good. I'm not Sarah. It pissed me off that she had to become someone different to feel comfortable in her own skin. And it made me wonder if she was even ready for someone to love her. I really felt like she was a child. I felt like she was still a teenager. And part of it was that she was allowed to run away from the town after this Christmas thing. If she had been able to come back the next year, she may have been able to get over it. She may have been able to grow up and move on, but she never did. And my problem with her was that she acted like a child. She was more concerned with having embarrassed herself at 15 than anything else to do in this book. As soon as she lands in the town, she wants to flee back to New York City to the comfort of her home there. Okay, I understand not wanting to be in Texas. I'm a liberal. Why would I want to be in Texas? Unless I'm going to Austin, because apparently Austin's cool. The other problem I had with this book was that there was quite a bit of city shaming. People in this town believed that cities killed humanity. And there was no one in there saying, well, hey, that's not true. But it isn't true. And it's just like people in little towns like that aren't backwater hicks who would rather, watch a NASCAR race than get involved in political discourse. That's not true. It's very judgy. It's not everyone is the way that people, you can't generalize based on where you live. I mean, I could just as easily say that anyone in a little town in Texas is a sanctimonious little Christian who thinks that the answer to everything is the Bible. That's not anywhere near true. Not everyone in Texas thinks that. Look at Wendy Davis. Not everyone believes in that type of thing, and it's demeaning for the author to sit there and say that New York City kills people's souls. Well, guess what? You have an audience in New York City. People in New York City are going to read this book and say, fuck you. Oh. Anyway, I'm still looking for a good book to read. I'm on Scribd now, and that's where I found the First Love Cookie Club, so I'm kind of leery. I guess it was kind of like the shiny penny thing, ooh, shiny, let's try it. No, didn't work. the books I ordered off of eBay finally came. I got the Deception of the Emerald Ring by Lauren Willig. It's the third book in the Pink Carnation series, and I don't know how I kept messing up the title in the first vlog. I kept saying that I was reading The Mask of the Black Ring, and that's kind of a combination of two books in a really wrong color. The second book is The Mask of the Black Tulip, and the third book is The Deception of the Emerald Ring. So I don't know where I got screwed up. I might start that series over again. I really like the Pink Carnation series. And I did review the latest book in the series, The Passion of the Purple Plumeria. A lot of P's and a lot of alliteration there. On the blog over the summer when that one came out. I believe that came out early August. And I think the next one is out this coming August, which is cool. I like knowing when my books are coming out. I've also got a bunch of books from the library that I can read. But right now I'm really concentrating on that book about The Sound of Music, and I also have a book about the serial killer Arsenic and Old Lace is based off of, which is really awesome that it was a real person. I mean, not awesome that she was killing people, but awesome that, oh shit, this woman was actually out there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just really into serial killers, and don't think that makes me really weird and macabre, because I'm not weird and macabre, not usually at least. Um, so that'll be all for this installment. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you come back again. I hope that you didn't turn this off after the first couple seconds and say, this girl is boring as hell. Why is she talking to me? Why is she on my screen? So you can go to the blog and you can subscribe. The blog again is theromancereader.wordpress.com. And there's the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/theromancereader, and you can send me any questions, comments, or concerns through the group, and I will try to answer them either on here or on Facebook, or maybe even on the blog. I might write a post about it as well. So happy reading!